I even like the little fair races. I like to go to little state races, and they're a lot of fun. There's a lot of like community, and people are so welcoming when you go to like state races and their local tracks, and I love it. Last year I got to go to Wisconsin, and again, come in a truck, got nothing of my own, and all the families are so welcoming, cooking for me, taking me under their wing, let me shower. So again, it's the people you meet. I'm very, very blessed. Growing up, my whole riding style and mentality has changed. I went from trying to go and blast every berm and ride balls to the wall, and you don't think. I find myself much more controlled, thinking about my mistakes I made and capitalizing on them the next lap. I'm like, who is this girl? Like, now I want to go race the nationals because I feel like I can do it, because I'm much more methodical when I ride, and I really do.
With that being said, have you explored, any trail riding, enduro, like arena cross style of racing at all?
I used to do tons of arena cross in the winter, because we get 6 months of winter, so we used to go down and race arena crosses and little mini supercrosses all over. So I love that type of riding style. Teaches you how to get hole shots, how to ride tight, ride aggressively. And again, that's a great learning basis. People need to go and race arena cross if you want to. I always say, for a girl especially, we have faster reaction time than men. We're great at getting hole shots. It teaches you line selection, because there's going to be a guy diving in on you, and it just teaches you that aggressive riding style that you can transition to outdoors. Guys never want a girl to beat them, so I find they trying to ride a little harder around us. But I did one enduro. It was only 2 hours, okay? So don't quote me on racing enduro at all. Shout out to like Casey Martinez and those girls who slay that stuff. Jessica Patterson. But it was so cool, because it was 1 lap in the bush trail and then 1 lap on the motocross track. So, where the motocrossers could make up time on the bush riders and vice versa, and it was so much fun. I started in C class because I didn't know what I was doing, and caught up to the A riders, and then proceeded to whiskey throttle ghost ride my bike up a hill, but then it deflected off a tree, and I spent about the next 45 minutes trying to dig it out of the bush. So it was so much fun. I had a blast though, and yeah, definitely extremely technical, and I would love to do some of that, the Baja racing on a bike, Herringbone, Vegas to Reno is definitely on my bucket list. So I need a couple more hours in my day.
I think one thing that truly makes you a huge part of like the basic and mainly badass, right, is that you're willing to try so many new things. Is there anything outside of motocross that you've always wanted to do that you've never done?
I mean, you have to do a lot of things. You have to, I'm not the best dirt biker. I love it. I like to still, stay competitive, but I am not, the fastest girl out there by all means, but, I'm passionate about it. This is a cool thing to talk about. That moment of you going to do something that you think you can't do. That's why I got a tattoo on my arm right now for y'all to see. It says "Never Settle."
I love it.
So I got this tattoo after I backflipped at Travis Pastrana's house into his foam pit. Because it was not because of the jump that I did. It was that mental, I reached a new level of mental capacity because I worked through that fear of doing something I didn't think I would ever do. I've never been good at jumping until lately, but they say you can, because the gardener went and did a backflip, okay? Never did it before in his work boots. But they say that, as a racer, it's even harder because you have to turn your brain off and your lady balls on, because it's not the norm. And there's this weird thing called fear, and it's going to psych you out in a lot of shit. And once you can overcome that, the world becomes limitless. And this tattoo was a reminder of the fact that I went there once. I overcame a fear, and it wasn't even a fear. I'm not scared. It's a foam pit, right? But I didn't even understand what it was, but it was something holding me back from just going and doing it. And so it's a reminder whenever I feel like that, hey, I did it once. I can do it again. And I think that's a great learning step for every girl out there, especially if you fall. I always say if you fall, pick yourself back up. But, it's that sometimes you don't know what is stopping you and you can't overcome it, but it's inside of you, and it's just it's basically a chemical reaction. And It just takes you and you. No one, just like a bad boyfriend. Your girlfriend can tell you as many times to break up with him and you still won't do it. You have to do it on your own. And that ability to overcome is going to be your greatest superpower that you can harness and utilize everywhere in your life. I promise you. If you do it once, remind yourself over and over and over again. And it doesn't matter if it's small, it can be big. Because it's literally you versus you. And it is such a cool and powerful feeling. And I hope every girl out there can, find that and support your friends when they've done it too. Like, just instilling the fact that you can do something it's a superpower. It really is. Holy